Hey, good people, how's it going? How's everybody's evening going? In this video, I want to talk about um, which I, which is better, Marvel or DC. Um, I'll say but like I said, DC is kind of all right, but I'm more of a Marvel fan, to be honest, because Marvel I really liked back in the day, one of my favorite Marvel characters, which is Spider-Man. Who was one of the most popular characters in the Marvel universe. I used to watch all like the cartoons, about like the 1967 Spider-Man cartoons, and this is and this is back in the 2000s, not in the actually. Because my dad had like the 1967 like Spider-Man cartoon on DVD years ago, when I was little, and in the 2000s, I used to. I like all of the Spider-Man cartoons, but I really love the 1994 animated Spider-Man series, and Spider-Man and his amazing friends. You know, that's pretty good as well. DC, DC is all right, but the problem is that I have with DC is not their roster. I just think their roster is not big enough. Unlike Marvel, I don't know why people say DC character roster is big when Marvel has like one of the biggest rosters of all time. And I'm not saying just to give an opinions or anything, but if DC's roster is bigger than it is, but I just say Marvel's roster is way better. Their character roster is just 10 times as better. And like, I mean, I do like some of the DC shows. The ones from the past though. Like Teen Titans. Justice League Unlimited. All those shows I used to love back in the day, back in the 2000s. The only show that I do not like is Teen Titans Go. Was that the Marvel? I mean, not Marvel. The DC superhero girls TV show. That all those shows are terrible, bro. Especially Teen Titans Go, bro. Trust me, you don't want. I don't want to get into that because you're just gonna hear me, because I'm gonna be all furious, and screaming, because I despise that show, bro. I hate that show with a passion, bro. And bro, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I don't like DC nowadays is because they keep forcing Teen Titans Go down the fans' throats, and and that's why I say I transition, and that's why I say I like Marvel way better because you know the character, their shows are 10 times as good. I mean DC had some good movies too, like the Joker. Birds of Prey, I'm not really a fan of. And especially Suicide Squad 2 or the Suicide Squad. And I was, and and every time when I kept on seeing that, the Suicide, why did they call it the Suicide Squad? I kept on saying this. Why couldn't they just call it Suicide Squad 2? I mean, and that's why I said DC be coming up. Some DC be coming up. Sometimes DC be coming out with some of the worst movie titles of all time. I mean, most of the time. I mean, people say the same thing about Marvel, but at least Marvel, they try their best. Whereas DC, they just do that, sort of on purpose. It's because Warner Brothers, they're lazy, bro. They have no idea what titles to come up with. Like for example, and like I said before, like Suicide Squad 2, or they're like, hey, let's just call Suicide Squad 2, the Suicide Squad. But still, they could have just called it Suicide Squad 2. It would have been way better. I mean, the only DC characters that I really liked it back in the day was Batman, Superman, and I believe the Green Lantern back in the day. But nowadays, I really don't care for those characters, especially Batman. I'm not, you know, I used to be a fan of him back in the day, back in the 2000s. But nowadays, I really don't even care for him now. Because Batman, I mean, he had some good. Batman had some good movies too, like The Dark Knight. That was a good one. Batman Begins was great. And my parents used to have that movie on DVD. Years ago. The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not really a fan. I'm not really a fan of. I think that's one of the worst Batman movies in my opinion. I'm not gonna. And this is my own opinion, by the way. I'm not saying that just to offend anybody. It's just my own opinion. But I just think The Dark Knight Rises is the worst. Is the worst Batman movie ever. But Batman Begins and The Dark Knight was all right. But I really loved the Joker movie. That was pretty good. You know, but it's just a shame that Joker skin. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker. It's not in Mortal Kombat 11, which is a really real disappointment. And it's because WB Games or NetherRealms, they have to make a deal with Joaquin Phoenix in order to put that skin in the game, which is so stupid. And that's another reason why I hate DC. They have to make like some deals and stuff. I mean, Marvel is like that too. Which is understandable. Because yeah, what do you guys think? Like which comic book company is better? Marvel or DC? I always say DC. I mean, not DC. I always say Marvel is better because their shows and stuff, their movies are actually pretty good. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me in this video. Because hope y'all. I know I keep repeating myself at the end sometimes, but I really have nothing. I really have nothing to say. But like at the end of the day, I want to give my viewers some respect, bro. But yeah, I hope to see y'all soon, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. This is DJ 2001 signing off. Peace, everybody, and have a good night.